Yes. Yes.
Shalom, shalom. Giving our honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Shai. Come to you on the Wednesday class to get edified in the Most High God's name. Name of the class today is called The Spirit of a Woman. I know a lot of times us men, we think about women, how women are in truth, and we see the wickedness sometimes, and how women be and the cattiness sometimes. But we also see how the love of the woman can be, but we see both sides of the angle. And we're going to go through a few precepts today, kind of go into that spirit, just touch on it a little something. So, matter of fact, we can jump right into it. It's Sirach chapter 25. Sirach chapter 25, we're going to start at verse 24. So,
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 24.
if that playing is too loud for you, just cut it off. We come on there. Get there, I'll read it.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
Of the woman came the beginning of sin,
Read.
and through her we all died.
So we all know through the woman, that's when sin came into the world. And then, like you say, we all die. Jump up to verse 15.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
There is no head above the head of a serpent.
Because we're going to touch on both of them. We're going to touch on the sin that the woman brought in, but we're going to touch on the serpent too, right? Read on.
And there is no wreath above the wreath of an enemy.
Read.
I rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman.
Than to keep house with a wicked woman, man. This is something that, like you say, the experience of a woman that we have to deal with on a day-to-day, but we do have to keep in mind that these women are a weaker vessel. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 2 right quick. 1 Timothy chapter 2, start at verse 13.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
He said, but Adam was first formed, then Eve. Read.
And Adam was not deceived.
Mm-hmm.
But the woman, being deceived, was in the transgression.
That's the same thing that Sirach chapter 25, verse 24 is saying. If you need to write that precept down beside it. It's saying the same thing, man. It said Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Transgression goes into what? Sin. So this is how the correlation of the, like you say, the sin came into the world. Another precept. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. Like you say, these things go one into the same. On how sin came into the world and how Eve was being deceived, but we're gonna go in and we're gonna touch on how Eve being deceived too. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through the subtlety, so your mind shall be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
He said, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety. Now we know that how this serpent was being subtile, man. It's going into idolatry. As Wisdom of Solomon points it out. That's how it first came into the world. It was idolatry. In fact, let's see if I can catch it right quick. Let me see if I can. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can get it right quick. Yeah, here you go. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 right quick. And verse 12. Verse 11. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and verse 11.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation.
Read.
Because of the creature of God, Shalaka, because of the creature of God. Shalaka, because in the creature of God there are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men.
Read.
In a snare to the feet of the unwise.
Because this is what all the other nations was. That's what they have been. They went into sin, knowing that that the laws wasn't made for them, so they go into doing basically on their own will, and we start seeing to try to do what they want to do, and it became a stumbling block unto us though, because we seen them doing something, we wanted to do it too. Like our glory of our God ain't so much better. Read on.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Because this is what would happen to us, man. The devising of idols. We wanted to be like the other nations. This became the spiritual fornication to our God, man. Read.
In the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Now, that's how sin came into the world. The corruption of life that goes into sin. Read.
For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
So guess what? The sin that was there from the beginning, it wasn't placed given to us. That's why when the Most High God had told Adam, who told you you was naked? Because guess what? He didn't know nothing about sin. He only knew good.
Jump over to verse 27.
Jump over to verse 27.
Verse 27. For the worshiping of idols, not to be named in the beginning, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
So just like I was bringing out, is letting us know the worshiping of idols, them worshiping that doctrine that the other nations taught Eve, that became a stumbling block and it became an idol. It says, for the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. So from that point, like you said, that's what brought sin into the world. That's how we lost our immortality. Go ahead up.
Big con on it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Verse 1. You get that, let's read it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
So he said, so that serpent was subtle than any beast of the field. Now we know that serpent goes into who? Goes into Esau. How can we prove it? Anybody got some precept?
Ecclesiastes 3 and 18.
3 and 18. What else y'all got?
Jeremiah 17 and 1.
Okay.
Revelation 12 and 11.
Okay. I'm just glad we on the same page. Because if we did, y'all know how I go. You talk slow, we're going to go to the precept. Matter of fact, let's pull one of them just for edification. Which one we going to pull for edification?
Ecclesiastes 3:18.
Pull one.
We'll put that. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 18. I said in my heart concerning the estates of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
See, there go the beast, but we want the serpent, though. Let's go to Revelation 12 and 9.
Oh, 12 and 9.
Oh, yeah. We got the beast. I already knew we got the beast. Let's go to the serpent, though.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil.
He said that great dragon that was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil. Who was the great dragon and who was the devil? Now, how can we precept that? Job 30 and 29, man. Let's go to the great dragon. I told y'all, you move slow, we gonna precept it, man. You get there, read it. Job 30 and 29.
The book of Job, chapter 30, verse 29.
You gotta make sure y'all brothers be writing in y'all book. Y'all gonna be able to get it when they ask them precepts, man. Read it.
The book of Job, chapter 30, verse 29. I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls.
Now, he was a brother to the dragon. What dragons is he talking about?
Esau.
Esau, man. Let's go back, man, to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
He said he had more trickery than any beast of the field, man. Read.
Which the Lord God had made.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto the woman.
And he said unto the woman.
Yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, ye shall not eat of it.
So guess what, man? They had an option. She trying to give the other nation the game. Yeah, we can't eat of that. But so guess what? They eating of that, but he told you not to eat of that. So he looking at the woman like, you can eat off this tree if you want to. Read on, watch this though. I'm gonna pull something out of this though. Watch this.
Ye shall not eat of it, neither should ye touch it, lest ye die.
And so, what was the first thing that she did wrong? She should have left him alone.
Yeah,
What is she doing talking to him anyway? What is she doing talking to him? She had no business even talking to him. He trying to persuade her to do something. If she knew better, she supposed to be did better, right? That was the first mistake though. But we're gonna read on though. Watch this.
Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
And the serpent said unto the woman, you ain't gonna die. First off, she's sitting talking to him. Second off, now he giving her advice. Read on though.
For God do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
So guess what? He said you should be as God, knowing good and evil. In her mind, guess what? She hears some stuff that she had never heard before. Now she's being drawn away because she heard some stuff she had never heard before. Don't this sound like something like when we in this truth? How a woman, she hears some brand new stuff. She might watch a video, she hears some stuff. Now she's drawn away. That's why you got to be careful, man. That's why I mean, this is pivotal that we supposed to be teaching our houses, man. It's pivotal that, guess what, man? Hey, sisters got to stay in order and start listening.
Eve also was trying to do what? Trying to be equal to Adam. We see a lot of that in relationships too. You see that constantly. Women, no matter what the Bible says, America says that guess what? You are equal. It's 50-50. But that's not according to the Bible. That's why we see a lot of conflict when it comes to marriages. You know, we see it all the time. People don't know their roles. You don't know what place you're supposed to be in. So then you're in there basically fighting for power in the household. Go ahead, Rob.
Big come. Read verse 6.
Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
So now she's saying the tree is good for food now. Read.
And that it was pleasant to the eye. And a tree to be desired to make one wise.
So guess what? She eating this doctrine up. Now she thinking she wise. She got more understanding than he got now. Read.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
And she did eat, read.
And gave also unto her husband with her. And he did eat.
And he did eat. So I'm this is giving. I'm gonna give y'all some I would say free game. This is news flash. This right here should let us know if a woman wanted to cheat on you, the only way you know, she had to let you know. Women, am I lying? Stop me when I'm wrong. The only time you will know that a woman is cheating on you is because she wants you to know. Guess what? Every time you cheat on her, she knows automatically because you change the stuff that you do. Guess what? You normally come home and you normally come home and sit around 2 hours. Now all of a sudden you come home, you taking a shower every day. You think she don't see the change? She notices every detail of you. Change one detail, I promise you she knows. We walk around so lackadaisical, we don't know nothing. The only way, that's why a woman, the attention to detail, what she pays attention to. And she feels like she has more understanding than you. Why? Because we walk around like brute beasts. We don't care. My food on the table. She do what I tell her to do. This is how men think. My food on table. She do what I tell her to do. And whenever I want to lay down with her, I can lay down with her. Man, come on, man. That's all it is to the relationship. That's all a man think about. We never think about really leading our houses as the Lord tell us to lead our houses, man. Brothers, you look here, I'm telling you, you ain't got no game like no woman in that situation. Because the subtlety part, she way above you, man. It shows right here. She took on, after the Most High God told Adam no, he believed her over the Most High God. So if he believed her over the Most High God, what the hell you think you gonna do? Something to be thinking about.
Also showing you that the woman gonna be your biggest test, man. That's gonna be our biggest test, man, in this walk, man. Like you said, when you get into the truth, when you're trying a woman, when you're married, all these things, that woman is gonna be your biggest test, man. That's the biggest test amongst men. Because that woman knows how to what? Get it out of you. Knows where to push the buttons at. That's your biggest test, man. Everything else can come a little fluidly, but that woman, say, man, that's why he said marriage is what? It's a mystery. It's gonna be a mystery to try to tame this thing, man. And the woman is gonna be your biggest test. We see it all the time when brothers, like I always say, when brothers get into this truth, they first or their hardest test be their family or their wives, man, or the women that they are trying.
Let me get a precept real quick. That's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 26. Because the Most High God, he gives us insight, you know, on the mindset of sisters, you know, in the spirit of sisters. You know, and the more sisters apply the scriptures and apply the commandments, they get up out of this particular spirit. When you get there, read that up.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets.
So he's letting us know that the woman's heart or her mind is snares and nets. We're talking about sisters that are not keeping the commandments, sisters that's not in the spirit. But for that wicked sister, that sister that's always looking to assert authority of a man, their mind is constantly on what? How can I snare this man in a trap? How can I snare him in a net? How can I get him to follow along what I want them to do? Read on up.
In her hands as bands. Whoso pleases God shall escape from her.
So if you please the Most High God, you will escape from her. Read on up.
But the sinner shall be taken by her.
But brothers that's not in the spirit and that's not keeping the commandments, you're easily taken by her. Meaning you're not able to discern the snares and the traps that she's laying for you behind. You know, go ahead up.
Big con on that. Hey, I'm talking about that's a wonderful precept, man. Hey, precepts, man, hey, scriptures say what they say, man. They say what they say. Matter of fact, let's go get some more on this. Go to Sirach chapter 25, right? No, I don't want Sirach chapter 25. Let's go with Sirach chapter 33 and verse 19.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 19. Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee while thou livest.
Let's read that again.
Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee while thou livest.
It said, give not thy sons and wife, brothers and friends. Don't give them power over thee as long as you live. When it concerning the Most High God, law, statutes, and commandments, nothing's supposed to go above those things, man. Nothing. But we sometimes, in our mind, thinking we can get away with something. Well, I'm just listen to it this time. Guess what? And that'd be the time you'll get caught in the snare and the trap, too. Read Sirach chapter 33 and verse 19 again, man.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend,
Read.
power over thee while thou livest.
It said, power over thee while thou livest. Read.
And give not thy goods to another, lest they repent thee, and thy and thy entreat for the same again.
And thou entreat for the same again. Read.
as long as thou livest and hast breath in thee, give not thyself over to any.
So we don't supposed to give ourselves over to any. If Adam was thinking like this, guess what, man? We'd be living in eternity right now. We have to worry about this, man. But he gave in to it. This is something that we got to get men to start back to thinking like a man again. Getting back to our glorious state, man. When the Lord tell us to do something, we hearken to the Most High God. It's time for us to get back into our glory. Guess what? When the Most High God, guess what, tells the woman her duty and the things she's supposed to do, it's time for the woman to get back into her role again. This is how we build a nation. We can't build a nation thinking that we can go above what the Lord say we can do. It's not going to happen, man. We got to build ourselves according to the scriptures, and that's how we grow.
Man, that thing saying, and thou entreat for the same again. Mm-hmm. They say, what you give me in, they take a mile, man. You'll go back and do the same thing. You give up this time, guess go give up again. You'll give in again. And you'll give in again. It'll be the same same thing happening over and over.
Who got the precept to that in the book of Sirach? Any brother that broke that precept down? All praise,
all praise. Let's read it. Who ain't got that in their precept in their book? Precept it out.
Don't need them precepts, man. Like we say, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, hey, shall the matter be established. Like I said, we do those things to home in a point, especially for brothers that are teaching out there. Add on to a word, you know. Like I said, we helping each other out here, man.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul.
Which is as thy own soul, read.
Entice thee secretly.
So now this is going to say entice thee secretly. This is going to give him power over thee. Read.
Entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods.
That's going to say, let us go celebrate this birthday. Let's go celebrate this holiday. Let's go over here and break the Sabbath. These are the things, this is going in enticing your soul. The things that we don't supposed to do, right? Read.
Which thou hast not known, thou nor thy father.
He said, thou nor thy father, man. We don't supposed to give ourselves over to that, man. Even the Most High God, you got to think on how our God think, man. It's time to start, like you say, getting our mind wrapped around on how God said we supposed to be to Him. Let's go to wisdom.
Jump down to verse 8.
Jump down to verse 8, God.
Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 8. Thou shalt not consent unto him.
Read that again, now.
Thou shalt not consent unto him.
So they trying to entice us secretly by telling us to serve other gods to stop us from doing the work of the Most High God. Read that again, now.
Thou shalt not consent unto him.
You should not consent unto him. Read on, now.
Nor hearken unto him.
Read on, now.
Neither shall thine eye pity him. Neither shall thou spare, neither shall thou conceal him.
Big con on that.
Read verse 9. I know you was. Read, brother.
Verse 9. But thou shalt secretly kill him.
But we ain't, hey, the Bible say that, but that was during the time when we didn't have grace and mercy.
Read it right. Thou shalt secretly kill him. Don't secretly kill him.
Verse 9. But thou shalt secretly.
Oh!
But thou shalt surely kill him.
Secretly killing nobody. But thou shalt surely kill him. Now this is during the time of the Old Testament. Before Christ came, before he gave us that opportunity for what? Grace and mercy. Now when they coming to us, hey, young, don't put that shake behind your back ready to do them or nothing. Hey, let them know like, hey, we're not dealing in that matter. You need to go and repent for that, man. But you see how serious this was during this time. Yeah. Because that puts all evil away from us. Go ahead, Al.
Finish it out, King.
Verse 9 from the top. But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death.
He said, so your hand should be first upon him to put him to death.
And afterwards, the hand of all the people.
And after, so you should be the first one, then everybody else come back and help you kill it. Or her. Or they. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. Now, we kind of touching the woman, but the thing is, we also want to keep in focus on spiritually what the Most High God calls a woman too. When we get there, let's read it too.
8:1.
Yep.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1.
You shall secretly kill him, huh? Go ahead.
Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily,
Uh-huh.
and sweetly doth she order all things.
So it's talking about wisdom. It said, wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doeth she order all things. Now it's talking to as wisdom as a woman. The Most High God looks at wisdom as being as a woman. Why does the Most High God look at his wisdom as a woman? Because that's how he loves wisdom, like a man loves a woman. That's how the Most High God looking at his wisdom. How? Because just like this, you got love for your bruise, but you'll never have the love for your bruise like you got love for your wife. It can never be. It's two different type of love. And the Most High God esteemed his love as like a woman. He's seen his wisdom is like a woman, right? We don't.
Verse 2. I loved her and sought her out from my youth.
He said he loved her and sought her out from his youth. Read.
I desired to make her my spouse.
Uh-huh.
And I was a lover of her beauty.
So now this give you further explain how the Lord say, I desired her and I made her as my spouse. He loved his wisdom as a woman, right? Read.
In that she is conversing with God.
Uh-huh.
She magnified her nobility.
Uh-huh.
Yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her.
So because he said the Lord of all things loved her, man. You think God don't love his wisdom, man? The wisdom that he put across the whole world, man. Our God love his wisdom, man. Matter of fact, let's get a little bit more on it. Little proverb. We're going back. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 7, verse 4. There's another count of the Lord, but in this count is called, wisdom is called our sister. Read there when you get there.
The book of Proverbs chapter 7 verse 4. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister.
Now this is going into how we're supposed to be laying the commandments upon your children. When you lay the commandments upon your children, we're supposed to be saying to wisdom, you are my sister. That means the showing respect unto God's wisdom. As if your sister. Brother and sisterly love, right? Read.
And call understanding thy kinswoman.
And the call to understanding our kinswoman, man. Just like, guess what? You don't want nothing. You don't want nothing to happen to your sister. Guess what? If it come down to it, every man in the building defend the women that's in this building, man. That's how it's supposed to do, and that's how we should be looking at God's wisdom too. We should be inquiring for it. We should be trying to entreat for these things, right? This is how God expecting us to look. Let's get some more on this, man. Go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Starting verse 11.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 11. Wherefore, set your affection upon my words.
Uh-huh.
Desire them.
Desire them, read.
And ye shall be instructed.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is glorious and never faded away.
He said, wisdom is glorious and never faded away, right? Read.
Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her.
So guess what? It's saying wisdom is easily seen of them that love her. So when we start loving, we love God's wisdom. Guess what, man? Wisdom can be easily seen. Read.
And found of such as seek her.
Uh-huh.
She prevented them that desire her, and making herself first known unto them.
Because this is how wisdom be going. It be first known unto us. We should want wisdom to be first known unto you. This is how we discern through things. This is how we grow in the spirit. This is how we build with the Most High God through the wisdom, right? Read.
Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail,
Uh-huh.
for he shall find her sitting at his door.
Because guess what? And this is how we're supposed to be thinking. We should have this wisdom sitting at our door, man. Why? How do we have our wisdom sitting at our door? Because they know. Guess what wisdom know? Oh, he gonna go home and read. Oh, she gonna go home and read. He gonna be fasting. She gonna be praying. She gonna be keeping the commandments. He gonna be keeping the commandments. He gonna be fasting. He gonna be praying. He gonna be giving alms. This is how wisdom looking at you, man. Cause we know wisdom is in all things, right? Read.
To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom. And whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as worthy of her.
Because this is what wisdom do. It seek who is worthy of her. A lot of times brothers be trying to figure out how to grow in this truth. Wisdom comes, guess what, when you seek her and you worthy to have the wisdom. If you ain't, you got to think about it. The Most High God loves wisdom, and He calls the wisdom as His spouse. So if He gonna give you some of the wisdom that He giving His spouse, you think you ain't got to work for this? He just gonna automatically just give it to you? No, He gonna. If you set a man around your spouse, you gonna have to trust that man. You got to think on how God think, right? If you set anybody around your wife, you gonna have to trust that man. If it's another man, you got to trust him. Guess what? If it's a bull, like you gonna have to trust her too. Just being real. And guess what? And you gonna have to trust your wife too, right along with that too. So hey, that's
right.
Hey.
It's just here. You're right.
It is what it is. Read on.
Sheweth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought.
Read.
For the very true beginning of her is the desire of this.
Because guess what? The very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline. If you can't be disciplined when you asking the Lord for wisdom, He's not gonna give it to you. You got to be disciplined in order to get this wisdom, man, that the Most High God got for you.
And that's something sisters got to constantly pray for. You know, the things that sisters deal with, you know, the attitudes, the mouth, the submissiveness. These are things that sisters got to constantly pray and meditate on. You understand, like you said, you're just coming into the truth. You've been that way for 30, 40 plus years and so forth. So we do take time to get up out of those ways. But like we say, but by damn it, hey, you need to be aiming for this. This is the whole goal. Like I say, those are the things you got to pray for. Those are the things you got to fast for. Discipline. To be able to check that spirit, man, when you see it about to come up. Most like God gives you warning. I know a lot of times sisters, they don't take that warning and know, I got to say something. I don't give a damn. I got to say something back. And it's like, no, you don't, sis. You got to have discipline. Go ahead, Al.
And how do we get with real simple? How do we gain with?
By keeping the commandments.
By keeping the commandments. So it's safe to say that discipline will be what? Keeping the commandments. Go to Proverbs 6:23 right quick, because we always pull this precept. So we understand that keeping the commandments gives you that discipline, because you know the Most High gave us straight commandments in 2 Nephi 7:21. He gave us straight commandments, so it ain't no teeter-totter on the commandments, and that's how you show the Most High God that you are ready or capable to gain His wisdom and knowledge. By getting discipline of the commandments. Read it, right?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
So the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light. Read on.
And reproofs of instructions are the way of life.
So it's giving you the game of, hey, these commandments gonna be your lamp and your guide or your leader for reproofs of instructions. But read the next verse.
Verse 24. To keep thee from the evil woman.
We don't never read that. We don't never touch that, do we? To keep thee from a what?
Evil woman.
The commandments give you that discipline so you can be able to look and see, hey, man, nah, this sister ain't ready to get tried yet, man. Or nah, this sister got a spirit on her, man. But the commandments is your lamp or your guider to help you to keep you from an evil woman. That's right. That's what this is for. We read this precept all the time. We are no precept. But the next precept goes heavy along with it, to keep thee from an evil woman, man. This is going to be our toughest test, man. Brother. Tell me, man. Read on.
From the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman.
And guess what? Also, like I brought out in that Proverbs when we went down. You know, we'll go all out for our sisters. We should. But then when you go into these strange women and these other women, Now you got Jakes out here trying to fight you for a dog. Edomite, man. We going hard after them. Right? But we in here, we gonna stand up for our sisters, man. That's what we should do. But now you going after the flat. Oh, that so-called white woman, yeah, she so-called say she gonna clean everything and do everything you ask her to do. That flattery done got you now. And you don't give a damn about your sister. You gonna fight for her now. But this is the discipline that we have with the commandments. That's simple, man. To keep you from evil woman. Go ahead,
What's going on there? Watch this. Go to Isaiah chapter 54. Start at verse 4. Because guess what? Not just a woman on herself to be called a woman. Watch this. This is what else the Most High God called a woman. He called a woman woman. He called wisdom. He called wisdom a woman. And guess who else? Read this.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 4. Mm-hmm. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore.
Now this is talking about. He's saying that we ain't gonna remember the reproach of our widowhood anymore. What a widow did. A widow this woman had a husband and he died. But the reproach from that woman, guess what? She ain't gonna have that reproach anymore. Read on though.
For thy maker is thine husband.
He said, thy maker is thy husband. Read.
The Lord of hosts is his name.
Read.
And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
He said, our Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel. Read.
The God of the whole earth shall he be called.
Read.
For the Lord had called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit.
Hold on, you reading a little too fast.
But the Lord had called thee as a woman.
He said, the Lord had called thee what?
As a woman.
He said, the Lord had called thee as a woman. So even in the children of Israel, guess what? He has called us as a woman. Why? Because that same love that, guess what? He has for the children of Israel too. And he gonna be, and guess what? Who's the man? Who's he gonna be married? He gonna be marrying the other nation, or he's gonna come back to marry the children of Israel. And marriage goes into what? An agreement. We becoming one again. With our Lord. Read.
For the Lord had called thee as a woman, forsaken and grieved in spirit.
Forsaken and grieved in spirit. Read.
And a wife of youth.
And the Lord said he called us a wife of youth, man. Read.
When thy ways refused, said thy God.
So he said, when our race refused, said God, man. So guess what? He called us as a woman too. So guess what? As a nation, we going into the women, but guess what? Thinking about how we are as a nation, we should be thinking like this as a nation too. We should be thinking on how this thing go, man. So when we not thinking on how this thing go, guess what? We look so much at the women, but guess what? We have the same kind of attitude towards our God. We have the same kind of attitude towards, guess what? Yahushua. There's something we need to be putting in our mind. Are we doing what we supposed to do? Is everybody obedient as we should be? Do Yahushua safely trust in us? Something that we need to be thinking about, man. Because a lot of times we don't really think about this thing, man.
We got some other precepts for Israel being a woman, real quick.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 2.
It's another one.
Jeremiah 6 and 2.
It's another one.
John 15 and 1. 2
Revelation 12 and 1.
Revelation 12 and 1.
Give me one out of the pocket.
Get the one out there, pocket.
What you got, Brother Donovan?
Yeah. First Ezra, chapter 1, verse 55. I'll read it right quick.
You gonna go to it?
Yeah.
The book of First Ezra, chapter 1, verse 55. As for the house of the Lord, they burn it and break down the walls of Jerusalem and set fire upon her towers.
Set fire upon what?
Her towers.
Her towers. He called Jerusalem as her. That's her towel. That's one out of the apocrypha too. You know, we all kind of keep something up, pat in the chain. Gotta keep something. We go to Sirach chapter 1, verse 7 right quick, man.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1, and verse 7.
We ain't going too fast, are we?
Let's slow down.
You know.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 7. Unto whom had the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and whom had understood her great experience.
Now this is going back into, we got to talk about into wisdom, because wisdom, they heard that the Most High God loves. Guess what, man? This thing right here is an important thing for us to get in our mind, to wrap around our minds. We don't know.
There is one wise and greatly to be feared.
The
Lord sitteth upon his throne.
The Lord sit upon his throne, read.
He created her, and saw her, and numbered her, and poured her out upon all his works.
So guess what? This is what the Lord did for wisdom. He looked at her, he numbered her, and then he poured her out upon all his works, right? Read.
She is with all flesh according to his gift.
Because guess what? She is with all flesh according to his gift, man. Read.
And he hath given her to them that love him.
And guess what? And the more, guess what, you love the Most High, the more gifts he gives. It's his wisdom, man. Read.
The fear of the Lord is honor, and glory, and gladness, and a crown of rejoicing. The fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart, and giveth joy, and gladness, and a long life.
Read on.
Whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last.
So guess what? When you thinking about how wisdom's supposed to be, guess what the Lord, very next thing the Lord started to talk about is the fear. That's when we know, guess what? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What precept?
Psalms 111.
This goes hand in hand. That's why when he talks about his wisdom, he give it to the ones that fear him. That fear goes into obedience. That's a good one too.
Remember, when we keeping his commandments, y'all gotta remember. Christians try to say and try to debate brothers and sisters with the Bible. Remember, we always got a one-up edge over them because what? We keep the commandments. So brothers shouldn't falter when they come across even a super Christian. You know, they don't understand the Bible, man, because they're not keeping the commandments, man. Like we say, you have to stay on the commandments and bring out what you have been taught and what you are learning, man. Go ahead, Al.
Nah, that's good. But your go-to is the commandments, boy.
That's right.
Brother, you keeping the commandments? You want to talk all this? Yeah, okay, I got you. What about the commandments? That's your go-to, man. That's the only thing that makes us that great nation, like you know, Deuteronomy 4:6. The only thing that makes us the great nation is the commandments, man. That we got. That's true. That's tough.
Big con on that, man. Read on up.
Verse 13. Whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last.
Read.
And he shall find favor in the day of his death.
Because this is what we should be obtaining. Out of all the time that we live, guess what? We can find favor, man, when we die. If this world keep going. And we ain't talking about spiritually dead. We talking about physically dead. We want to obtain that favor, man. Because we know the dead in Christ do what?
Rise first.
This is what we trying to obtain, man. Man, we fighting the biggest fight of our life, man. Read.
Verse 14. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And it was created with the faithful in the womb.
Guess what, man? He said, I created this man with the faithful in the womb. He knows who's going to be following his law, statutes, and commandments. What makes it so funny, watch this. Go to Sirach chapter 4. What makes it so funny, this is how we being guided in this truth. Watch this. I'm going to show you something. This is how God's wisdom did for us before we was in the truth, all the way to the point when we got in the truth from where we at right now. This is how, guess what? When he called wisdom as a woman, this is how obedient she is to the Most High God. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, go to Sirach chapter 4 in verse 17.
The book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 17. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways.
So guess what? The wisdom, at first, it's going to walk with you in your crooked ways. Like before we made it in this truth. It walked with us in our crooked ways, man. Everything that was in your path, it was moving them things out your way before you made it here. That's how God's wisdom was with you. It walked with you in your crooked ways first. Read.
And bring fear and dread upon him.
So guess what? We all, I don't care who you are, we can claim to be the toughest thug in the world. Guess what? We all had some kind of fear of something. Even when we was in the world, we had some kind of fear of something. Read.
And torment him with her discipline.
And guess what? The Most High God made sure you stayed on the right path. Even if he had to torment you in your discipline. Even if he had to sit your wild butt into a jail cell to calm your butt down. Guess what? He's going to make sure that you listening to him. You be like, all right. Lord, you get me out of this one. You get me out of this one. He don't care how you got it. Guess what? He going to get your attention. Read on.
Until she may trust his soul and try him by her law.
This is how God's wisdom do it. It's going to happen. And guess what? It's going to keep pushing you until, guess what? It trusts you. Then when it trusts you, guess what it's going to start doing? Giving you God's laws. That's when your ears open up, and then now you get God's laws. And now after you got God's laws, read on.
Then will she return the straight way unto him and comfort him and show him her secret.
So guess what? After you now, he gets down that you in the truth and you got God's laws, it start giving you her secrets and it start to comfort you. Because now that we woken up, guess what we trying to do? Every brother and sister in here, the people that's watching online, guess what they want to do? Everybody want to have wisdom. Everybody want to bring, man, we watch classes, man, we watch people teach online. Man, you be seeing some of these master teachers, boy, they be out there getting it out there on the streets. Then them classes be so tough, man, guess what? If brothers ain't striving to be on the level that them brothers on or be in a higher level, bro, what are you in the truth for? You ain't striving to get nowhere, you just complacent like that, right?
Want to do the bare minimum.
Come on, man. Go ahead, huh?
No, go ahead.
That's it, man. That's what brothers trying to do. And wisdom guided you the whole way. In your crookedness, she held you. Then once you gave him the truth, she comforted you and she started to give you some of her secrets, man. How does she give you your secrets? By keeping the commandments, man. Jump up. No, verse 19.
Verse 19. But if he go wrong, she will forsake him.
So, but guess what? As she done gave you the law, statutes, and commandments, and you know better now, if you go wrong, she will forsake you. Read.
And give him over to his own ruin.
And you gonna give you over, and guess what? When you get sent to your own ruin, you gonna end up in Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 4. Who can tell me what they say before they go there?
Like a fire.
Nope.
64.
66 and 4. That's right. The Most High God gonna choose your delusion. That goes into your own ruin. He gonna choose your choose your delusion. You don't know what the Lord. Guess what, man? What if us you leave without the truth and the Most High God turn you into a pedophile? What if he turn you into a killer or a rapist? You don't know what the Lord. He can take your mind anywhere, man. What he made Jeremiah go out there and eat what? Dung and roots and all kind of stuff. He can take your mind any way you want to go. You don't know what the Lord gonna put you at when if you mess around and walk off from this truth. You don't know how you gonna take your mind. Jump over to verse 11, now.
Verse 11. Wisdom exalted her children and laid hold of them that seek her.
He said, wisdom exalted her children and she laid hold of them that seek her, man. Read.
He that loveth her loveth life. And they that seek her early shall be filled with joy.
Read.
He that holdeth her fast shall inherit glory.
This is what we want, man. We want to get the Most High God wisdom. We want to suck these things in, and we want to grow within this, man. Read.
And whatsoever she entereth, the Lord will bless.
Whatsoever God's wisdom is, the Lord gonna bless it, man. Read.
They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One.
And they said they that serve her are gonna be ministered to the Holy One. That's pretty deep, man.
So think about it. Every time you was going through your situation before you got this truth, every time you had to sit down in jail, it was wisdom tormenting you, trying to get you to understand. And guess what? I'm trying to break through to your butt and give you the wisdom and understanding. And understand, because they say the best knowledge is gained through what? Through affliction, through experience, right? So these, and I'm telling you, this is mine in a nutshell. If I was going to jail, boy, I know 5 times in 4 months, man. I'm talking about for tickets and weed and things like that. But the Most High was tormenting me with wisdom. Wisdom like I'm going to torment you with this discipline. You're going to have to find out and understand that it's something I got for you, man. It's better for you. You need to learn from these mistakes. And the whole time it was wisdom tormenting me, man. Every time you was going through something to get you into the truth, and everybody can account. They got their own little testimony or story of what, man, I kept on going through this. That was wisdom. Trying to build you up.
I remember you said, he like, dang, we got pulled over. I said, yeah. He said, dang, this is the first time I got pulled over. I ain't go to jail.
First time.
I remember he said that.
Oh, yeah, we did. We sure did. And did not get to the jail. Well, you know what to say, man. Because wisdom the whole time trying to give me knowledge. I got my situation a little better at that time. But it was a lot of the most I got really did that, man. That's right.
Big color. But that's how that thing work, man. Watch this. Just get something on it. It says, verse 14 said, they that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her, them that love her, the Lord doeth love. Let's get something on that. Rock chapter 24, verse 1. It's still going. We still go. Like I say, we gonna touch on one, but we're gonna go back to the physical woman side too, because we can't leave to not talk about the woman and not hear Proverbs chapter 31.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 1. Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people.
Read that again now.
Wisdom shall praise herself.
You ain't got to praise. Wisdom gonna praise herself, because she gonna show you who she is, man. That's why the Most High God loved her, man. That's why I say, think about how the Most High God wisdom is. You think he gonna let every person go around his wife? No. It's not gonna happen that way. If God is married, espoused to wisdom, he's not gonna put everybody. Guess what? If he looking at Israel as being his wife, guess what? We can't be around other. Do you see how this thing, the correlation is going into? That's why he call us separate, man, a holy nation.
It go both ways. Even the wife not gonna want to be around
Exactly,
anybody,
man.
anyone.
She shouldn't want it anyway.
That's right.
You know, some of them, yeah, it is what it is. Read on up.
Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth.
Yeah.
And triumph before his power.
It said, in the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power. This is how wisdom exalts itself in the congregation of the Most High. This is going back into what Sirach chapter 4 and verse 14 is going into, man. This is how she's showing herself, man. This is how she show her glory, man. This is how wisdom do for us. When the Most High God shows, give us his wisdom. Wisdom does a lot for us, man. But we got to accept the thing wherein the wisdom is giving us too. Because a lot of times we don't take it, right? Watch this. Go to Psalms chapter 82. Verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 1. God set standard in the congregation of the mighty.
He said, God standing in the congregation of the mighty. Read.
He judges among the gods.
And he also judged among the gods. You see the lowercase gods? This is how God showing how it's going into the same thing Sirach chapter 24 was going into. Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. I have said, ye are God, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men,
Read.
And fall like one of the princes.
So, but guess what? This is how God looking in the midst of our congregation. Guess what? Yeah. He exalts us because guess what? He called us gods. We the only nation on the planet that is considered as gods, or as kings, or as princes. We the only nation that consider those things, man. The rest of these nations, yeah, they got their little idolatry god. But we the only nation on the planet that the Lord exalted. If you see the correlation, like you say, the same thing that the Most High God love, that's how he does with it, man. He tries it, he puts it through the fire. Guess what? He judges among it. This is how, and if brothers paying attention, guess what? All this should be correlating to what? Should help you teach. If you paying attention to what the class is, this should help you teach you how to try a sister.
That's right.
If you paying attention, this is to get your mind wrapped around about trial. Because a lot of times you thinking that you've been with a woman a year, the trial is over with. No. Been with my wife 23 years. Guess what? I'm still finding out stuff about her that I don't know. You gonna continue. This trial thing don't never stop. This is a forever trial. That's why you think if it wasn't a trial over and over again, marriage wouldn't even be no mystery no more. I won that mystery. I done solved the mystery. It's gonna be a mystery tomorrow too. That's why you try to tell you. Brothers thinking that they know everything about a woman, you not gonna know. She's not gonna tell you everything. I don't care how much you think you got everything about her. No. You're not gonna know everything about a woman. She's not gonna let you know, no matter who you are. You'll never know 100% about a woman. She's not gonna give it to you. Unless you know the only person who can get that out of a woman is the Most High. If both of y'all stand in front of the Most High, you be like, dang, girl, I don't even know you. Just like that. And you've been around her for years. So I go, man. We take it as if it's not safe, but it really is just like that, man. It really is. Let's go to let's go back to the marriage a little bit. I want to touch on it a little bit. Go to Sirach chapter 7. So like you say, if you paying attention to how this thing going, guess what? This should help brothers, and this should also help sisters too, to see the things that you should be striving for and the things that the brothers should be looking for. Guess what, man? We don't want to be a doggish woman, a doggish husband to our wife. But guess what? We want to make sense of everything. It's time to start making sense when we dealing with people, man.
Because, I mean, I would say it's good that sisters should read other things in the Bible. You know, sisters call sometimes about questions about Daniel. I mean, it's cool, but one of the main things sisters should always read and be meditating on is Titus 2, Proverbs 31. You know, the deeper understandings, yes, we do give them to y'all, but that should be our main focus. Esther, Judah, reading about sisters that did diligent work in the scriptures. Knowing precept is good, don't get me wrong, but that should always be our main agenda, to read those chapters and so forth. Sirach chapter 26, to meditate on those things, to ask the Most High God to give y'all that type of spirit according to those verses. Go ahead, Al.
We're calling on them, man. Hold on, man. I'm just skip over. I want to touch this right quick. Go to Sirach chapter 7, verse 25. I said I want to touch on this marriage a little bit, man. Because these things, like you say, when we go into these trial states, we should be making sure that we getting ourselves together, man. And we should want our women to have better understanding of things that they're supposed to do too in this walk. Read it up.
The book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
Marry thy daughter, and so shall thou have performed a weighty matter.
Guess what? So when a man has a daughter and he married the daughter off, guess what? You perform a weighty matter. Guess what? A man don't want to give his daughter away to no little knucklehead. You don't know how you're gonna be. You know, we look at our boys, man. We try to give them the understanding. Our boys, no matter how much game you give them, they still hard head. You put them on, hey, you try to tell them how things go. Guess what, man? They don't give a damn how things come and go. They just find out the hard way. But the girl, they'll listen to a certain extent. I'm going to tell y'all another thing, brothers, while we looking about how marriage is supposed to be. Guess what? I'm gonna tell y'all something. The women, guess what y'all men, guess what, we some liars. Yeah, we are. But them women lie a whole lot better than we do. A whole lot better than we do. That's why they can be able to get away with so much stuff, because they can lie so much better. They go to the farthest extent to make sure that they don't get caught, no matter how the situation goes. They go to the further extent. Man, we'll go out there and do something and mess off. You'll forget to go wash up when you make it home or something.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna call you now. All right, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna call you. All right. Women, I'm gonna call you, girl. Let us go over this. Now, never work. I was working. You was with me all night. What do? We went over your mama house. Then after that, what do? Had to just call your boy. Bro, what happened?
Man.
Bro, I told you I was gonna call you now. Trick that. They go to the deepest message right there.
They go to the deepest message. Guess what? So guess what? When you marrying your daughters off, guess what? She got to understand the game too. We can sit there and play, because guess what, man? We trying to help brothers, because we gonna, like I say, when they come up to marriage council, we gonna ask questions that people do not ask, and you gonna be looking like, damn, I can't believe you sit up and ask. Yes, we gonna ask that question. We gonna ask a lot of questions that you ain't gonna realize that. That's why we tell brothers, sisters, yeah, come on to marriage council, and then you gonna be like, God dang it. This is the sermon that the Lord gave us, though. That comes through wisdom. Like when King Solomon said, this is your baby, or this is your baby. Guess what? He said, cut the baby in half. And the one that was the true mother, she said, no, just give it to her. He knew right then that was her baby, because she cared enough not to kill the baby. The other woman, she like, I don't get it. I'll cut the baby in half, then. They know that ain't her baby. You just cut your baby in half. What mother can forget a child that she nourished? That's in Proverbs. Read that out. Let's go on to a little bit. Let's read that.
Ecclesiastes. The book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 25 from the top. Marry thy daughter, and so shall thou have performed a weightier matter. But give her to a man of understanding.
This is what you do when you men. You got daughters, give her to a man of understanding. He's following the law, statutes, and commandments. He's keeping the commandments. He's diligent in this truth. Guess what, man? This is what we're supposed to do. Read.
Hast thou a wife after thy mind?
So, look. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Read.
Forsake her not.
Forsake her not. Read.
But give not thyself over to a light woman.
Now, he said, don't give herself over to a light woman, man. What that mean? Easy a little bit, but what else?
Over to a dumb woman.
A dumb woman, what else? She ain't got understanding. Guess what, man? I'm gonna give y'all another news flash. Brothers in here that want to try a woman, if you don't have a good understanding of the scripture, do not try a woman in here, because we're gonna put you through the fire to see if you do got a good understanding. If you ain't got a good understanding of the scriptures, do not try a sister in here. Telling you right now, sister, don't try to get tried in here. If you ain't got a good understanding of the scriptures, and he don't got a good understanding, it makes no sense. We'll be in marriage counseling every week, every other week, because people ain't got no understanding. It makes no sense, man. Ain't no sense of wasting each other's time. Because guess what? One of y'all gave each other over to somebody that was light. No. Brother should be having a good enough understanding that he should be able to, if he got a situation, he should be able to do what? Go to the scriptures and give our understanding. If he can't do that, no. Go to Sirach chapter 9, verse 1. Just touching on little subjects. We trying to hone things in, try to get brothers understanding. We got to hone these things in. Sirach chapter 9, verse 1.
The book of Sirach chapter 9, verse 1. Be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom.
So now, guess what? After you got the wife, don't be jealous over the wife in your bosom. Boy, sister over there, she making 1,000 garments per week. Boy, you like, dang. But don't be jealous, bro. Don't be jealous. Come on out. Sister doing the work, man. Don't get jealous. She out working you slothful, you don't want to do nothing. Sister over here working her butt off. You jealous, you trying to hold her back. No, we not to be like that, man. That's a person, that's a brother that ain't got no understanding, man. Read.
And teach her not an evil lesson against thyself.
Read that again,
And teach her not an evil lesson against thyself.
And that evil lesson is going into, guess what? She's seeing a slothfulness of you. You taught her that you were sloth. You were sloth. Guess what? You lying all the time. You taught her that you was a liar. You teaching her an evil lesson of yourself, man. If she's seeing this, guess what? Guess what? You give her every ammo to make her feel like this, whatever she want to do.
That's another thing, some more wisdom for brothers and sisters proving each other. You know, you want to make sure that each one of y'all have a good work ethic, that y'all are diligent unto the Most High God, that y'all not slothful in spirit. These are some of the things that you have to watch when y'all proving each other. And these things take time to be revealed, man. Sister ain't gonna show you that off the back in a couple of months. She may not even show you that in a year. That's what we tell brothers, take your time. That's what we tell sisters, take your time, man. Go ahead up.
Be calm. Read on.
Verse 2. Give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance.
So he said, give not thy, don't be trying to show sisters, yeah, baby, you know, I got it like this, and I'm trying to do it. That ain't how you supposed to win the sisters over. You ain't winning over with no substance. This ain't the world. Read.
Meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall unto her snare.
Guess what? Now, guess what? You up here trying to sister, and y'all all alone, and guess what? She feeling on you, and you feeling on her. What you think is gonna happen? Something finna happen. Guess what? You might kiss a little bit this time. The next time it might go a little bit farther. She might touch a little bit more. You might touch it. Guess what? And y'all keep walking with each other, and y'all keep on, and you keep skating on it, Eventually, it's gonna cross the line. Guess what? We are not to do that. It said, meet not with an harlot. That means sister gotta. Guess what? And 9 times out of 10, with these women nowadays, they more freakier than the man. We can try to. Guess what? It's hot girl summer everywhere around this mug, man. I seen the girl license plate on the way to the thing, got a hot girl on the thing. And I look at her in the car, she sure look like a hot girl, too, like a hot mess. Look straight at her. And guess what? Some sisters do get that spirit of a harlot on them, man. They want to be alone with you. No, brothers. Don't be alone with them right now, especially when you trying to try something. Don't be alone with her. You know which way she trying to take you. You know which way she trying to take you. Yo, what, man, that comes later on down the line when you got better understanding and she has better understanding too. Read on.
Use not much the company of a woman that is a single. Lest thou be taken with her attempts.
So now he said this is a woman that's a single. But this is also going into, don't just marvel at the talents or the things that she can bring to the table, man. She got all of this, man. Her dang sister got all this to bring to the table. Then you get up in the house, y'all got hell on the highway. No, man. Don't marvel at all the talents, man. Dang, this sister can make plenty of garments. Yeah. Then you get in the house and you battling her, though. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. Read on.
Gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her.
So guess what? It said don't fall by the things that's precious in her, man. Guess what? Because a lot of times, brothers, we trying to spirit by the eyes. Like you say, we try to spirit by the eyes.
Remember, like Christ said, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So you want to make sure, like I said, if you just on the skin deep, you really want to be looking at the sister's spirit. Like we said, sister got a beautiful spirit. Hey, that makes her beautiful.
We come on it. That's that Proverbs, the next precept is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 25, man. My brother got that down. Waiting for it to come around. I pulled it early, that Proverbs 6 and 23, read 6, 23 and 24. But at 25, it says, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. So, goes in the one and the same, that Proverbs 6 and 25, man. I had it written in the book, but when I brought that out, I said, no, I'm going to write that down beside that mug. Make sure brothers writing in their books. It said, engage not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. Read.
Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thy inheritance.
Because we don't want to lose our inheritance, man. We don't want to get our place removed, man. It's something that we ain't trying to do. But if we keep playing around with these things, that's what happens to it, man. We can get caught up in that mug, man. And we not trying to get caught, man. That's an easy thing to do, to get caught up in that mug. Let's say, Sirach chapter what? 26. You know, we're going to touch on that mug too. Sirach chapter 26. Let's start at 1 go for real. Let's start 26 and 6 then.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 6. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous.
Read verse 5. Okay.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 5. There be three things that mine heart feareth, and for the fourth I was so afraid.
Three things my heart feareth, the fourth my heart afraid. Read.
The slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation.
All those things are tough on you too, man. Who like to be accused of something they know they didn't do, man? Well, you'll argue to the moon and back, man. I did not eat that sandwich tonight. Somebody, I did not do it. We will go to the moon and back arguing about this stuff, man. The false accusation, we don't like that. But this the fourth, though. This the hard thing, man. Read that.
All these are worse than death.
Man. Go read on.
But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman.
So guess what, man? We're going to have grief of heart and sorrow for a long time. Because we know that women have that trait of being jealous. And it's a trait that they have. We know that. So we need to get ready for that. You're going to have grief and heart of sorrow. When you jump up to verse 4, it says, whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a triple countenance. It don't take much to please us. But this was going to mess your countenance up right here. Oh, who's you? Why was you staring at her so long? What you admire? You admiring her something? Well, she got something better than I got? Why you all up in her face? Why you talking to her?
Why you eating your food so fast?
Why you taking another shower? You know what I'm saying? Like I brought out, men start taking showers every day, man. Go and take a shower every day, man.
Throw them out,
Yeah.
Throw them off, man.
Go take it.
Hey, for real, don't take the day to the bed.
For real. But it lets you know, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous of another woman. You know, we just read the scripture where it said the man don't be jealous of your wife. But this is going to occur. It's going to be both ends of it. And you know, the woman being the weaker vessel. That this is going to happen, y'all. This is going to grieve you sometime. Know this. That's why, like I said, it's a mystery of marriage. You're going to get this sometime. It's going to be out of the blue sometime. For nothing. Looking at a movie. You show staring a little hard, but I'm just watching the TV, man. You know, I'm looking at it. But this is going to happen, man. This is going to be a grief of you. Read on.
In a scourge of the tongue, which communicated with all.
No, man,
Big con on that, man. Read on.
Verse 7. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro.
Read that again, man.
And an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro.
Man, hey, these scriptures talk, man. He said an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro, man. You don't know which way that mug gonna go, man. It might tighten up on you. Things might get heavy in the situation. You don't really know, man. Read on.
He that had hold of her is as though beheld a scorpion.
Guess what? They saying a woman scorned, huh?
Mhm.
It's giving us an example, man. Guess what? All these sayings, guess what? We literally read these things in the Bible, man. We can read these sayings, man. Verse 8.
A drunken woman and a getter abroad causes great anger.
It said a drunken woman. Yeah, we better start thinking about these things. Start thinking about these things. When a woman get drunk, read.
And a getter abroad causes great anger.
Cause it great anger, read.
And she would not cover her own shame.
Guess what? When you know, guess what? You know when she done got a little too much drink, and you trying to tell her, hey baby, you need to stay in the spirit. Boy, get on out of my face. Yeah, you drunk. Time you sit your butt down somewhere. It shows how we supposed to react. It's giving us understanding. We just got to see it. If we talking to them and they get all the shamefacedness done went out the window, you don't have too much to drink. It's time for you to stop. This is something we need to be looking at. Hey, we trying to give lessons. These spirits, we trying to show you how these spirits go. They go like this, right? But it's a flip side. Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. The grace of a wife delighted her husband.
It said, the grace of a wife delighted her husband. Read.
And her discretion will fatten his bones.
And her discretion go always fatten his bones. Guess what? It's like, dang, boy, you gained a little weight. Guess what? Sisters, how it working, man. Treating them good. Guess what? He happy. Read on.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
And read that good.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
Guess what? A silent and loving woman. Not the silent woman that she pissed off at you, that she don't want to talk to you. Not that silent woman. It said a silent and loving woman. Because a woman get pissed off sometimes. Guess what? And some of us men, we get pissed off the same way. And won't talk. It's sad when a husband and wife together and y'all in the house that y'all can't even have a conversation. That's a sad thing, man. Y'all walk around each other 2-3 days, 3 or 4 days, and y'all don't say a word, man. That's sad. That's madness, man. What if Christ blocked your blessings for some days? That's tough, man. What if Christ blocked your blessings? Most High said, well, dang, you ain't gave him a blessing. I don't feel like talking to him for a week. And you study trying to pray to the Lord, Lord, you hear my prayers, Lord? And he keeps studying blocking. It makes no sense, man. If we married to him, we married to Christ. And he just don't talk to us for a month. Guess what? And whoever doing it, they way out the spirit, man. They way out the spirit. Every person does that, you out the spirit. And we can prove that. Watch this. Go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. What's the sun go down your mouth? What's this? Ephesians 4. That's where we need to go.
Ephesians 4.
Yeah, Ephesians 4. I know I was coming somewhere. Coming around the mountain and she's going. Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4?
Yeah. 4:26.
Go ahead. That's it.
The book of Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Read that again.
The book of Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
We never supposed to go a day without doing this. You letting the sun go down on you supposed to always let the sun go down. Look here, if you ain't got stuff straightened away by the end of the day, guess what it's time to do? Let it go. What you say better not LIG it, man. Let it go. It's time to let it go. Because if you don't let it go, we're going to read the very next verse. Just what happens when you don't let it go.
Verse 27. Neither give place to the devil.
This what happens. when you don't let it go. You wake up with it on your mind the next day, guess what happened? Oh man, I got to tell this beat. Now y'all arguing another day. It's escalating. We can't do that, man. That ain't how things go. We trying to give brothers and sisters a better understanding on how to be in a relationship.
Like we said, that show out of the spirit, you calling your wives B's, and wives, you calling your husband B.A. niggas. You know, that's just totally out of the spirit. Y'all know what B.A. niggas stand for. You know, that's totally out of the spirit. That's some things that brothers and sisters have to ask for forgiveness and repent of. Ask the Most High God to establish your thoughts, man, because that's totally out of the spirit. Like we said, we no longer, like we said, when arguments or situations come up, because they gonna come up, the Most High God is gonna purposely bring up arguments in a marriage to see if you gonna do what you did in the world or to see if you're gonna apply wisdom.
Big con on that. Let's go back to Sirach chapter 26. Jump down to verse 23.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
It said a wicked woman is given a portion unto a wicked man, man. Yeah. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Read that over again.
A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
Uh-huh.
But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord.
Let's see what that means. Jump over to Sirach chapter 22. Start at verse 3.
Book of Sirach, chapter 22, verse 3. An evil-nurtured son is the dishonor of his father.
It said an evil-nurtured son is a dishonor of his father. It's going to explain itself. Read.
That beget him. And a foolish daughter is born to his loss.
And a foolish daughter is born unto his loss. Read.
A wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her husband.
Uh-huh.
But she that liveth dishonestly is her father's heaviness.
Uh-huh. Read.
She that is bold dishonors both her father and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
But they both shall despise her.
And they both shall despise her. That's this wicked portion that we looking at, man. Guess what? That's the same wicked portion that we looking at, man. Let's go back. Verse 24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 24. A dishonest woman contempteth shame,
Uh-huh.
but an honest woman will reverence her husband.
So guess what, man? It's gonna see brothers. Guess what? He out the spirit. Now you getting taken over to a woman that's out the spirit too. You know.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog.
Dang. Read.
But she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord.
And she that shamefaced will fear the Lord. Read.
A woman that honored her husband shall be judged wise of all.
Because this is what we want our women to becoming. Being wise of all, man. We want our women to be in that status, man. Being wise of all, man. Read.
But she that dishonored him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
Because guess what? Now it's also telling y'all what, brothers and sisters. When a woman in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. Think about how these things go. When we trying a sister or we in full-fledged marriage with a sister. We got to think on how these things go. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 31. Let's get to it. This the big boy. Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who? If y'all heard about virtuous women, right? Everybody heard about a virtuous woman, right?
Uh-huh.
Before a woman can become virtuous, that she thinking she a virtuous woman. Guess what? Let me see what she got to have. Read that out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
Uh-huh.
For her price is far above rubies.
He said, who can find her? It's asking the question, who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find one? Right? So price is far above rubies, right? Read on.
The heart of her husband, though safely trust in her.
Before she become a virtuous woman, her husband has to first safely trust in her. Brothers, we ain't got to get no short hands, because I know nobody's hands will go up. Because what woman in this world do you safely trust? guess what? People have mothers that we don't safely trust. We got grannies that we don't safely trust. Some people have great grannies that we don't safely trust. Let alone our wife that you thinking our wife you safely trust. That means every detail of her thing, what she do in her life, you trust everything she do. Nah, we not even gonna play that game. We in the truth for the truth. Don't nobody safely trust that woman. This ain't that easy. If you can find, that's why I said a virtuous woman, who can find one? Because I know, I probably 9 times out of 10, I know I wasn't gonna get the virtuous woman. Why? Because I still got a little wickedness in me. And guess what? If you got a little wickedness in you, guess what? You ain't gonna get no virtuous woman either. This is your portion. Y'all we just got finished reading that. That's your portion. You got a little wickedness in you. Well, you got to be a virtuous man to get a virtuous woman. You got to be virtuous to your house shot. Yeah, eat that roll. Eat that roll. Go ahead.
So that he should have no need of spoil.
She said, guess what? This woman is so virtuous. He has no need of spoil. Anything he want, guess what? Silly on color purple. Come in the house, shoe. Come in the house, tie. Come in the house, cuff links. Come in the house, guess what? Everything. Safely trust. Safely trust. You like, man, I know I'm dealing with some stuff. Guess what, man? She see you out the spirit one day. Guess what? She looking at you. Damn, this nigga acting weak. She pays attention to what you do. A woman pays attention to every detail what you. If you act crazy, guess what? One time she seen the craziness. You thought you might have hit it. No, you ain't hit a damn thing. Well, she caught it. Act crazy one time. Get out the spirit one time. She read it. I don't care if you get out the spirit a little bit. She caught it like, She like, okay. Then she'll hit you with some little subliminal. All right, how you doing, rudeness? Yeah, she done caught it. You might laugh, but no, she caught it. She let you know that she caught it. Read it up.
Verse 12. She would do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
He said she gonna do him good and not evil all the days of her life, man. This is how a virtuous woman. Before she become a virtuous woman, her husband has to safely trust in her. Before we get into the house, a virtuous woman is supposed to be, her husband supposed to safely trust in her. Now, if her husband ain't safely trusting in her, she's not a virtuous woman, man. I don't care how much stuff she do. Her husband got the first thing before they talk about her getting into the virtuous stuff that she was doing, her husband must first be safely trusted in her. So if he's not safely trusted in her, guess what? She's not virtuous. Guess what? She might have virtuous traits, but she ain't virtuous. Jump down to verse 25.
Verse 25. Strength and honor are her clothing.
He said, strength and honor are her clothing. Read.
And she shall rejoice in time to come.
Because guess what? This is how a virtuous woman. Now, y'all women, y'all men, y'all should go back and read this too, Proverbs 31. Because guess what? Who y'all think the first virtuous woman was?
Israel.
It's Israel. Guess who else? We got to be virtuous to your house shop. Yeah. You thinking that you just talking about the spirit of a woman just concerning just the women. No, it's concerning you too. You part of the, he loved her. Guess what? You part of the her that he loved. Virtuous come through us too. When you talking about this is something that we, guess what? Strength and honor should be in our clothes. Guess what? We should be clothed with what? Righteousness. We can precept this thing all the way down with precept upon precept, man. Read.
She opened her mouth with wisdom. And her tongue is the law of kindness.
And her tongue is the law of kindness, man. It ain't no guile in her mouth. Read.
She looketh well to the ways of her husband. She looketh well to the ways of her household. And eateth not the bread of idleness.
Because guess what? She ain't got no idle time. Whatever she gonna be doing things concerning her family. She ain't playing this idle game work. Because guess what? Our idle mind is what?
That was workshop.
Guess what? It's his workshop. She ain't trying to have an idle mind. In order for her husband to safely trust in there, guess what? Because he knows she ain't idle. She gonna be doing something. Read.
Her children arise up and call her blessed.
Guess what? Her husband safely trust in her. Her children call her blessed. Read.
Her husband also, and he praises her.
And her husband also, he praises her. Guess what, man? You got a virtuous woman. Boy, I'm talking about you going look at. Knees touching your chest trying to get to the house, trying to get to her. She's a good one. Guess what? You got to be a good one too. Read.
My daughters have done virtuously.
No. Read that again.
Many daughters have done virtuously.
It said many daughters have done virtuously, but they weren't a virtuous woman. They done did virtuous attributes. Read.
But thou excellest them all.
But guess what? But when you're a virtuous woman, you excellest them all. Because a lot of women got virtuous attributes, but they ain't got the whole package. Because when you hear a woman telling somebody, or you hear Bruce telling it to somebody, you know they ain't got the full virtues in them. Because I ain't there yet. What you mean you ain't there yet? She couldn't say that to me because I ain't there yet. What that mean? Get what? He can't say that to me because I ain't there yet. What that mean? What you ain't where you ain't in? Read on.
Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
It said faithful is deceitful and beauty is vain, man. Read.
But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
It says so a woman that fears the Lord, these are the type of women that's gonna be praised, man. Guess what? And you the type of man that's gonna be praised by Yahweh. He show you the glory. He put the wisdom on you. Guess what? He exalts you as a leader and he grows you up, man. This is something that we need to be getting our mind wrapped around and thinking about at all times, man. When we looking at so tough and how the woman's supposed to be, look at your man or how you supposed to be to your head. All the things that we supposed to be doing and all the slothfulness that we supposed to be having, and your house shot looking at us, man. Guess what? He our head just like we the woman head. You think your house shot disappointing the Most High? Hell no. But is we disappoint your house shot? Hell yeah. Is the woman disappointing us? Hell yeah. You see how out of order the woman's spirit is? That stuff go two ways. It don't just go for them, it go for us too. We got to be looking into this thing, man. We want to get ourselves right, man. Because we don't want no look. We can strive for the perfection. But guess what? It really takes work to get there, man. And you really got to be disciplined enough to get that thing, man. Let's go to one of our sisters, man. Sister Dorcas, man. Go to Acts chapter 9. Start at verse 36.
The book of Acts chapter 9, verse 36. Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Timothy. Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas.
Now this is going into the sister Dorcas, man. Read.
This woman was full of good works and alms deed which she did.
So this woman was full of good works and alms deed. She didn't have no idleness. She didn't have no idle mind. She was about that work. You know, say she about that work, boss. Read.
And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died. Whom when they had washed, they laid her in an upper chamber.
So they laid Dorcas in the upper chamber because they done washed her up, prepared her. Now she in the upper chamber because she done died, man. Read.
And as far as much as Lydia was nigh to Joppa, Lydia was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there. They sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them.
So guess what? It was 2 men seeing Peter Peter up and drop her. They said, man, bring Peter over here, man. Sister Dorcas done died. Let's go get Peter, man. Read.
Then Peter arose and went to them. When he was come,
Went with them.
Went with them.
Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber. And all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them.
Because guess what, man? Dorcas was like, she was mighty, man. She was, teaching the sisters on how to sew the garments. And like you say, sister was mighty in good works and in arms. These sisters were putting their work in, man. Read.
But Peter put them all forth and kneeled down and prayed and turned him to the body, said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up.
So guess what, man? Tabitha with Sister Dorcas, she was so fervent in the spirit. The people, man, like, man, look, Lord, please just let this sister stick around a little longer, man. They needed this sister to come back, man, because she was fervent in the spirit, man. Read.
And he gave her his hand and lifted her up. And when he had called the saints and widows, presented her alive.
So now they presented her alive, man. This is how it's supposed to be, man. Sister's so fervent in the spirit, man. Guess what, man? The Caldwell and the mighty man, look. Hey, man, this sister down, man. This sister, man, she about to get ready to tap out, man. Sister was fervent in this truth, man. Sister so fervent in the truth, everybody wanted to see Sister Dorcas live, man. This is how this thing's supposed to be, man. Sister spirit is supposed to be that fervent in the truth that all of us should be going to bat for that one sister, man. And we yearning to have sisters in this truth to be like that, man. That everybody just fighting for this one sister because she's so fervent in this truth, man. Or even for that one brother that's so fervent in this truth, everybody fighting for that one brother, man. Praying for the Most High to keep him alive, man. This is how we're supposed to be thinking, man. We need to get to this point, man. That's why, guess what? The spirit of the woman, that ain't just for a woman, thinking that she is the disobedience in the woman and all the different stuff that a woman, but guess what? It's women out here, like Judith, Sister Dorcas, Esther. These people that were fervent in the spirit, man, that the Most High God was looking upon and was using these sisters, man. We got to make sure that we get our minds and our hearts wrapped around on how the Most High God being, how the Most High God tell us to be. 1 Corinthians 11:3 say what? For I would have you to know that the head of every what?
Man, it's Christ.
It's Christ, man. And that's our head, right? And head of the woman is what?
The man.
Guess what, man? And we look at these women on us, guess what? We're their heads. And we're going to be looking at the details of what they bring to the table. But guess what? How they can trick us. And the funny thing about it, we can't trick you outside. But they can trick us. So by the woman being weaker, the weaker vessel, guess what we're supposed to be looking at? We're supposed to be looking at, guess what, man? If you were staying in the spirit, you'll be able to catch it. If you're out of the spirit, you won't catch it. Brothers can't give you the understanding of stuff, and if brothers not catching it, you can't receive it. They're going over your head. We ought not to be like this in this walk, man. That's all I got for tonight. I ain't gonna go. I got about 10 more precepts, but I ain't gonna go into it. But with that, I'm gonna say shalom, man. Keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. Like I say, I hope brothers and sisters get edified today, man. Like I say, go back and rewatch the video. Hey, you trying to steal on how to build spirits of a woman up. Guess what? And that spirit of the woman going into Israel, man. And it also goes into our sisters too, going into the trial state and into the marriage. So, Precept we're going to pull is Deuteronomy chapter 13. We'll read verse 6 and verse 8 through 9.
6, 8, and 9.
Yep, verse 6 and verse 8. We'll read verse 6 and 8. Like and share the video, man. Help us put the truth around the four corners of the earth, man.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter,
Read.
or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. Verse 8. Thou shalt not consent unto him.
We shouldn't consent to them. Read.
Nor hearken unto him.
Read.
Neither shall thy eye pity him. Neither shall thy spur. Neither shall thou conceal him.
Read verse 9.
Verse 9. But thou shalt surely kill him. Not secretly, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thy hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people.